We're back with James Carville as we keep an eye on the Senate floor, where Senator Cory Booker is now within the hour of breaking this all-time record in this marathon speech. I've never been a sports play-by-play guy, James. I leave that to you. I know you jump on some of the podcasts. But there is a physicality to this as we process the news. Let's pick him up again. Let's take a look again in full. Because I want to talk about how he actually looks, because this is harder than it looks. A lot of people think, you've worked in these campaigns, oh, do a debate, oh, go to 3 states, oh. This man, who, as you mentioned, was a varsity football player in high school. He was on the 86 USA Today, all-USA high school team. You have to have a physicality and be cogent, and you don't want to do it in a way where you end up sounding so tired and fatigued that you don't project strength. Can I get your play-by-play on how he's doing?
Well, first of all, I'm looking at him. He looks pretty good for him been coming up on 24 hours. I know Senator Booker fairly well, and he's a good raconteur.
Yeah.
Sounds like great stories. He's a very, very charming guy. And, you know, he was probably a fit for him. It was a good idea that he came up to do this. And, you know, I don't think there's much chance that, you know, Senator Sanders or Senator Schumer is going to go 24 hours like this.
That's no joke. And look, this came up during the campaign. You said you're not ageist, but you had concerns about whether Biden was projecting strength and was the best pick. We've heard a lot about who are the leaders of the party. You just made a point, and again, I don't mean it in a negative way, but and certainly not a disrespectful way. But you just said it. Chuck Schumer, who recently had to clarify in public that he's not stepping down, might not be able to do this thing.
Well, no one in the history of the United States Senate has done it till he did it, so I don't know if that's really that much of a rap on Senator Schumer, but he's going to break the record for political speech-making, which there's a lot of people that took a lot of crack at it. There's a lot of political speech-making going on. This is the longest one in history.
So does that matter? We heard a lot last year about fitness for office. What about being young enough to be fit? And the generational issues in the Democratic Party, which they tried to paper it over and then they had a crisis. You argued they should have done it earlier. What we're seeing here is a different public face than some of the same old folks from the last 20 years, with all due respect.
I think it's coming. I think it's turning over. I don't think there's any doubt that this is happening. And, you know, people tend to forget just how much young talent exists in the Democratic Party. And I just keep trying to remind people, and I think all of this is going to be front and center. I think one of the pleasant surprises of 2028 is going to be just how in touch Democrats are and how much talent there is in the party. And it's not, you know, it's in Kentucky, it's in Pennsylvania, it's in Arizona, it's in Louisiana, it's in Georgia, it's in Michigan, it's in a lot of different places. And I think what Senator Booker is doing, you know, if you take this in tandem with all of the other things that are going on, I think his sense of timing was pretty good right now. And I'm pretty sure that he thought this through, but now this was much more effective than 3 weeks ago.
Right. Why?
Because we're starting to build up to something. We're starting to see it. There's been, you know, real questions coming up. And I just can't really adequate to say how unique this Musk thing is and how this reaction against this is just going to continue. I don't see this stopping. And the Republicans are going to have to go to Trump and say, man, you got to get this guy out of town. We'll ride our neck. That's all we're getting asked about. If you watch these town halls, this is not George Soros set up. These things are,
no, this is real.
It's real.
We have that for you. Let's look. These are GOP districts. Let's take a look at the town halls recently.
The House of Representatives and the Senate are totally abdicating their responsibility.
How can we be represented by you if you don't have a voice in Congress?
We should abolish the U.S. Department of Education. The decisions...
I will not cut your Social Security. It is a promise between...
Responsibility! Talk about what Trump is doing!
That's the revolt. We've seen it even in the red areas. We got 30 seconds. You got any election calls tonight?
Well, I got one call. Look at that. Those people that you saw. Does that look like an ultra-left George Soros plant? Or that looks like somebody just really made it? And I'll watch this endlessly. I think we're going to win Wisconsin. Okay, I just do. And because we're winning special elections everywhere, I just don't think we're going to start. But if we do, I would tell you that it would be very catastrophic. It would not be good at
Yeah.
all. I would not be very happy.
Yeah. All right, well, that's what we're watching tonight. It's become a busy news night. In closing, you know I always like to have a little fun with you,
sure.
all right?
Yeah.
I never get to say this to you.
Okay.
But I get to say it tonight.
Hey.
Thanks for dressing up.
Oh, I'm going to dinner with my daughter tonight in Manhattan, so she made me dress. She said, Dad, you can't wear jeans and an LSU shirt. Yeah.